communication. So communication is the act of conveying meanings from one entity or group to another through the use of mutually understood signs, symbols, or semiotic rules. That means the brand, because if you ever heard me describe what the brand is or give you the definition, it's always described as a sign, a symbol, an energy. A logo is a piece of it, but not the whole thing. And then semiotic rules. So semiotics is the study of sign processes. It's also described as or pronounced as semiosis, which is any form of activity, conduct, or any process that involves signs, including the production of meaning. The production of meaning. So when you speak to someone, when you do a live, what is the purpose of the live? When you put up a meme, what is the purpose of a meme? When you put up your logo, when you choose your logo, when you put up your name, what does your name mean? So somebody just said, I am the brand. What do you mean? What is the meaning that you convey? And we talked about this before when we went through week 5, and I talked about changing your attire to match your desire. When people see you, what is the meaning? What is the meaning? If you were to put your screen share or your screensaver up, what is the meaning? Can someone see it and feel it? The main steps inherent to all communications are the formation of communicative motivation or reason. How are you moving people? How are you motivating people? How are you moving people from one step to the next? What does that look like? Are you moving people? Or is it crickets? And if it's crickets, why is it crickets? And what can you do to move people? Sometimes we move too fast before we develop the meaning. Before we fully develop the meaning, we're out the door, down the block, and around the corner. Talking about, look at me, look at me, look at me. I'm over here, I'm over here, I'm over here. But you haven't done anything yet. You haven't developed yourself fully. And this is why sometimes people run out and then have to run back. I was guilty of that. I ran out in a rush, in a hurry. I put the cart before the horse, and I had to run back, and I had to retrace my steps, and I had to break things down in order to build things back the right way. So the clear call, the first part of the clear call is communications, and someone else said clarity. And this is the fact, because we have to be clear about our communication. That's how it all starts. It all starts with an email. It all starts with a post. It all starts with the verbiage, messaging, message composition, and message encoding. Who are you talking to? What are you saying? And do they receive it the way you want them to perceive it? That's what you see when you see me post. That's what you see when you see a post go up and a lot of responses come after it. That's what the first post was. I made a communication. I encoded it. People were looking for something. They were looking for salvation. Many people don't understand what salvation is. In their mind, salvation is money. So I appealed to that reasoning. I said, I made a post about money, and ding, everybody showed up. What communication can you make so it can turn from crickets into ding, and people show up? Because everybody here wants people to show up. And people will show up because they're already present. They're only responding, though, to the correct communication. So how can you improve your communication? And then leadership. Leaders help themselves and others do the right things. They set direction. Build an inspiring vision and create something new. What can you create that is new? We talked the other day about innovation in marketing. What can you innovate? If you've got something new, you've already got something. The only thing you have to do is put it out there, stand on it, and be present in it. Consistently, though. And the wrong thing is to look for money from the beginning, because if you're looking for money from the beginning, it'll show up in your consistency. I'll let that sit for a minute. That calls for ink. If you're looking for money, it will show up in your consistency. Because when you post, when you do a live, when you present, and your responses don't turn into money fast, you won't be consistent. When the wind blows, you won't be consistent. When there is resistance, you will no longer be consistent. You'll start something and you'll say, okay, I'm going to do a live every Tuesday at 5 o'clock. And you'll do it for 3 weeks. And be like, man, I'm done. Ain't nobody coming here. Or it's just me and my cousin. Ain't nobody coming. But leadership is about mapping out where you need to go to win. As a team or an organization, even if it's just an organization of you. Another thing about leadership is that it is dynamic, exciting, and inspiring. Now, are you dynamic, exciting, and inspiring? Look in the mirror. Close your eyes and think about your last week. Was it dynamic, exciting, and inspiring? Not was it, were you in it? Because you can be in a terrible situation. I've been in multiple terrible situations, but whenever somebody asked me, how you doing? I immediately raised my voice and said, phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. Why? Because I was, even when no one else could see it, even when no one else could see it in themselves, I stayed in a state of absolute phenomenality. This is your responsibility. This is your responsibility as the leader. It is on no one else to give you money. It is on no one else to come to your lives. It is on no one else to help you do what you need to do, because it is on you as the leader. If you want to assume the leadership position and be the leader and be an influencer, then you have to do what Shadanika just said. You got to get out there and you got to put your story out there consistently. And you got to find ways through the rough, through the path, through the way that you do it. You have to create the dynamism, the dynamic, exciting, and inspiring personality and presence that will be your brand energy and brand appeal. Everyone is not meant to be an influencer, but everybody can be a leader. All you have to do is help yourself and others to do the right thing. You don't have to be inspiring in your charisma if you're an introvert, but your vision can be inspiring. I'm going to give you a perfect example. Simon Sinek. Simon Sinek, The Infinite Game and the Why series. Start with why, what's your why, all of the different whys. If you've ever heard him speak, you will say, this guy is not inspiring at all. But he's consistent and his content is fire. His content is fire. Can't be denied. Another one, Malcolm Gladwell. The guy is very unexciting. If you've heard his speeches, not exciting at all. Fire content though. Absolute professional. Brainstorm, knows what he's talking about and good at it. That's the guy that did the 10,000 hour rule for those who may be unacquainted with him. You may be unacquainted with him because he's not so exciting, but his content is fire. That's why you know the 10,000 hour rule. But if you ever listen to him talk, it's like crickets. It's like womp, womp, womp. Not exciting. Fire, content. Where is your content? Where is your content? How does it show up? Are you the dynamo? Are you the dynamite? Are you the dynamic, exciting, and inspiring? Or if you're not, how fire is your content? How fire and how consistent is your content? You got to weigh yourself properly and know what the next steps are to take. You got to meet the gap, close the gap where your content, where your fire personality goes down, when your energy goes down, your content has to come up and it has to be relevant and consistent. Relevant and consistent leadership. The E in clear is for empowerment. Empowerment is the degree of autonomy and self-determination in people and in communities. Keyword, community. You're in one. Are you creating one? See, empowerment is the degree of autonomy and self-determination. So when you empower yourself by being consistent, by being the leader, by having fire content, you actually empower others just by being the example. Your example gives other people permission. That's the first degree of inspiration. Write that down. Write that down. Your example gives other people permission, which is the first degree of inspiration. But if you're waiting on responses, if you're waiting for money, if you're waiting for the dam to break and the water to bust through, everybody else is waiting too. If you look like you're waiting or you're expecting, then they're waiting and they're expecting too. Neither person knows what they're waiting for though. But empowerment is the degree of autonomy and self-determination in people and in communities. This, listen to this, this enables them to represent their interests in a responsible and self-determined way, acting on their own authority. What are you supposed to be doing for your clients? What are you supposed to be doing for your prospects? What are you supposed to be doing for the people that are watching you? Empowering them. Giving them self-belief. Listen to this. It is the process of becoming stronger and more confident, especially in controlling one's life and claiming one's rights. When we talk about breaking generational curses and moving into a place of generational legacy, when I say that this should be your inheritance and greatness is your birthright, how does that make you feel? Think of the way you felt going through Branded Like a Leader. What did you feel viscerally at the end of the calls? What did you feel? How did you feel at the end of some of those calls, at the end of some of those videos, at the end of some of that work that you had to do as you reflected on it, looked at it? When you finish a book, what does that feel like? Listen to this. Empowerment as action refers both to the process of self-empowerment and to professional support of people. But if you're looking for the end result, which is in some people's minds, plenty of money, how is that empowering? How is that professional support of people? You're putting the cart before the horse. If you're doing this because you're looking for X, that's halfway doing it. And it's easy to sense. It's easy to sense when somebody's halfway involved or anxious, looking for the outcome, trying to get past the closing call to the stripe withdrawal. Just waiting to process the check. There's a problem there. And it's a leadership problem. There's a problem there. And that problem, until you address it, you're not going to be as successful as you would like to be, because you're still giving a part of yourself. You're not giving your whole self. So when it was said that I'm going to stop talking about me as the coach or me as the this, and I'm just going to give them me because they need to hear my story, that's the right direction. That's the right direction. See, substance comes before a sale. Substance comes before a sale. I've said it a million times. When I started going live, there was no price attached to it. When I go live now, there's no price attached to it. You guys have watched as I've built community after community after community, no price attached. Now, they don't get the degree of value that you get. They don't get this kind of value because, of course, there's degrees. There's degrees and there's levels. See, if somebody tries to come in this call that hasn't paid the cost, they're not going to get in. I'm going to send them back. I am going to deny them entry. But I'm empowering them to the degree that I empower them within the free group so they can get to this level and they can get to a level higher than this. And everybody gets fed at their level, but I want to ask you, what level are you feeding people at? What level? Now look at this. This is the deep part. What level are you feeding yourself at? Because empowerment as action refers both to the process of self-empowerment, and that comes first. And then it goes to the professional support of people, which enables them, check this, which enables them to overcome their sense of powerlessness and lack of influence and to recognize and use their resources. If you feel powerless and like you have a lack of influence and you don't know how to utilize your resources, how do you think you're going to empower or inspire people to follow your leadership? Why should they come? When I started doing this, there was no thought of money involved. It was COVID, the first wave, and it looked like rapture. Nobody knew what was going to happen. So I completely said, well, no matter what happens, if we here tomorrow, I'm going to go live. And I didn't say I'm going to go live for $50 or $100 or $500 because who knows what money was going to be worth in 5 days or 5 minutes. So it wasn't about that. It was about pure support of people. Pure support. It came from that place, and it still comes from that place. And now I want you to understand and realize that as you grow, you can and you should be able to say it with your chest and put a 0 behind it, and you will. But you can't do that before you give pure. You have to give pure first. You have to give pure, and in order to give pure, you have to be pure. You have to be purely concerned with your ideal client and nobody else. It can't be about your landlord at the moment. It has to be about your client. It can't be about your car note in the beginning. It has to be about the clients. I had a job to cover everything that I needed, and I had my business to just give people value, to light them up on the inside so that they could pay their landlord, so they could pay their car note, because I had something in me, a degree of leadership that allowed me to take care of mine, and I gave that fire to someone else so that they could pay theirs. And then it was like, okay, if you're able to stabilize yourself and live with yourself and look in the mirror and not cry or die inside every day, now let's talk about how to put a zero behind it and make more money once we've got some self-efficacy, self-dignity, self-respect. But it's hard to take, you can't go from 0 to 100. You literally got to go from 0 to 1 and from 1 to 2 and from 2 to 3 and from 3 to 4. That's how empowerment works. So I want you to look at the picture on the screen and ask yourself, are you the person that's glowing? Or when you're in a crowd of people, are you the person that is lit up? Or are you looking for someone else to light your fire? And when I say, are you looking for someone else to light your fire, you're going to remain a student. I am forever a student. But are you lighting people up? Because when I look at this picture, I'm not the person that's lit up. That's the person I just spoke to. That's a client of mine who I just talked to. That's someone who just came from one of my lives. They leave the lives lit up. They leave the conversation lit up. They leave the coaching call lit up. Who are you lighting up? Who are you empowering? Because if it's all about empowering you and your bank account, people are going to know it. And they're going to be like, I don't know. They sound good, but I don't know. Something just pushes me the other way. They're never going to have it. You don't have to put zeros behind it. You could take zeros away from it. And they're going to be like, nah, that's too much. They're not going to understand the value. They're not going to understand the value, and they will deny you $50, turn around and pay someone else $500 because they can understand the value of their offer. While at the same time tell you they don't have it for you because they don't have it for your offer, because they don't have it for your energy. If this makes sense, put it in the chat. Just type something in the chat. Let me know that you're getting this, because I don't want it to seem like I'm coming for you or coming at you. I want you to get it so that you can come for the people, because the moment that you become not the person lit up, when you become the person, if you could see my pointer, okay, can you put it in the chat if you could see my pointer? Okay, good. When you're not trying to be this guy, and you're trying to be this guy over here who's in the shadows, who just touched this guy and lit him up, that's where your money comes from. Your money don't come from being this guy. Your money come from being this guy. See, if I was to say, which one of these are you? Who are you in this crowd? I bet everybody would have said, I'm the one lit up. I'm the one lit up. I want to be the one lit up. No, you don't want to be the one lit up, because everybody don't like the one that's lit up. Like, oh, he's full of himself. Oh, he an ego tip. He da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. You want to be the person back here. This is the coach job. The coach is here. Everybody knew Jordan. People didn't know Phil Jackson. Everybody knew Tyson. People didn't know Cus D'Amato. People got this twisted. You're going to learn this in the Coaching Like a Leader course. Some people are trying to be the coach and the star at the same time. What part of the game is that? We're not going live to be seen or to be heard. We're going live to empower other people, to make them lit up, to light them up, to light a fire inside them so they can go change the world. See, in leadership, when you are trying to become a leader and your leadership is weak and you don't know really who you are, you got to pour into you. As soon as you become a leader, you pour into yourself on the low, and you make a note of pouring into others. Because as soon as you get the mantle or accept the title of leadership, it's not about you anymore, and it's about everybody else. We light everybody else up, guys. Our lives is lit because we light everybody else up. That's what it is. If I didn't light you up, you wouldn't be here. I say I went from crickets to digits to show you that you can do it too. I don't say I went from crickets to digits so I could talk about my bank account. It's not about that. It's about you being inspired and saying, wow, if he grew up in Harlem, if he had a lack of education and now he got 2 master's degrees, it's possible. I could do it. He ain't had no bread. If nobody knew who he was, I don't want you to get this backwards, because if you get this backwards and you're going to be trying to be a star, you're going to try to, you can't slam dunk from the sidelines. So this is like a position of like, stay in your lane. Do you know which lane you belong in? As the coach, you're not the superstar. You're the coach. Your clients are the superstars. You're supposed to empower. When you try to be seen and be heard and be great, you disempower people. You take the shine away. You trying to fight with the person that should get the light from getting the light, and you trying to share the light or take the light back. And that's why the person that's supposed to get the light, like, man, they don't really care about me. They trying to hog the light. And if you want the light, then you could be in the light, but most times you'll be in the light by yourself. Because nobody likes a show off or somebody that's trying to be. They respect people who are who they are. Think about the coaches. Coaches are quiet. You don't even know who they are. They subtle, they low. Their team is vicious. The best coaches are known by having the best teams. The best coaches are known by having the best teams. The coaches are deep, though. The coaches are deep. They'll wear the same thing every day for 5 seasons, 10 seasons. They'll have on some funny stuff. Like they'll have something in their pocket that they keep that connects them to their morals, values, and principles. They'll be a little off. They'll be quirky. Like they'll wear sneakers or shoes and jeans, or jeans and a suit coat. And they'll have a pin in their ear. Like they're quirky. They're different. There's something about them that's just a little different, but they don't care really, because then it's not really about them. It's about their team. And you know the best ones because they always have the best teams, and they pour their life and give their life for the team. People turn around and say, I thought they had kids. Aren't they married? I don't never see their wife. I don't never see their kids. It's because the coach gives their life for the people. Think about that. Everybody trying to take vacations and stuff and walk away from their job. But real coaches work a job and they coach for years until they become such a powerful coach that their team buys them out. They give them so much and they become such a big community that the coach can no longer service them to the highest degree and work a job. That's when you leave your job, not because you don't like your job. If you don't like your job, I would advise you to find a better job, one that you like, because it's not about just leaving your job. It's about giving enough people enough empowerment to believe in you long enough for you to say, okay, they bought my stock. I can't feed them and still exist here. That's when you have to leave, not because you got successful. You get successful when your clients start writing their books, when they start doing their work in the marketplace, when they start getting lives and getting people on their lives and start closing deals. That's when you like, ooh, that's when you feel good. I feel phenomenal when I see another person finish their book. I'm like, let's grow, let's go. When somebody else tells me I just closed a client, I'm like, let's get it. When they tell me they raised their prices, when they tell me they got prices bigger than mine, I'm like, let's go. Let's get it. That lights me up. That's when I get lit up. I get lit up when I see success from you. Who do you get excited for when they are successful? Or are you waiting for you to be lit up? Attitude. Attitudes. I created this call last year. I said the key to leadership, domination of an industry, proficiency in anything consists of 5 things. It consists of communication, leadership, empowerment, attitudes, and we're going to go into the last one in a moment. But attitudes. The attitude of a person is determined by psychological factors like ideas, values, beliefs, perception, etc. All of these have a complex role in determining a person's attitude. Your ideas, values, beliefs, and perceptions. See, if you believe that you're supposed to be lit up and it's not about you, or if you believe that it's about you and you're supposed to be the one lit, the one that doesn't have to get up if they don't want to, and the one that doesn't have to go to work for someone else and all that stuff, then your attitude is going to be mad. You're going to have a bad attitude. And when you're trying to attract people, it's hard to attract bees to a mound of BS. Bees are attracted to honey. You have to have the right attitude. And if you're fighting all day, if you're sullen all day, if you're upset all day, then you're not attractive. If you're trying to lure people into a rabbit's trap by offering them a little bit of value so you could close the door on them and trap them, that's the wrong attitude. Values, morals, values, and principles. Remember, ideas, values, beliefs, perception, all of these have a complex role in determining a person's attitude. Values are ideals, guiding principles in one's life or overarching goals that people strive to obtain. Beliefs are cognitions about the world. What do you believe? Do you believe that you're supposed to be a servant to the world, or do you believe that the world is supposed to be a servant to you? It's nice to be in first class. It's not a bad deal, but it's good to be on the plane too. And everybody gets peanuts. Everybody gets peanuts, and everybody gets to the destination at the same time. But what are your beliefs in that context? If you're in the back of the plane tight because you on the back of the plane, chances are when you get off, it's going to be hard to smile. And it's going to be hard for people to smile at you because your attitude is off. What do they call it here? Subjective probabilities. That an object has a particular attribute or that an action will lead to a particular outcome. Your beliefs. Right here, your beliefs are responsible for your outcomes. Subjective probabilities, they call it. Look at that. Look at that. Your beliefs. What are your beliefs? Do you believe that you're the one that's if I was to say, which one are you, or which one do you wish you were? How many people, now just be honest for a moment, because it's going to say a lot about you too. If I was to say, which one are you, or which one are you supposed to be in this picture, how many of you would have said, I'm supposed to be the one with the light? I'm supposed to be the one lit up. Nobody responds at all. That's a hard one. That's a hard one. Nobody who thought that they were supposed to be the one lit up.
Shaan, can I speak to that for a second?
Who is this?
This is Imani Martin.
Hey, go right ahead.
So in my practice, we are taught to live our life lit up, like live our life to the maximum and live it to the fullest. And that does come from within. And you're right, it absolutely is about the other person, and it's not about yourself, especially when you're coaching or you're being a teacher. Same kind of principles there. But the capturing of living your light lit up and passing it on to others, I feel like that definitely has to be something from the inside. It's beautiful to see someone else lit up and see like how you've touched them, but I feel that light also has to be in you in order for you, if in order
It
for it to be
does.
passed
You're not
through.
wrong. You're not
Yeah,
wrong. It does, but you're not supposed to be the one taking the front stage, is what I'm saying to you. See, if this is an option, if this is a picture, where are you in it? Are you the one lit up, or are you the one responsible for the lit up person? That's my question. And that's why I presented this picture. Because if I would have just said, here's a picture. Who are you supposed to be? Who do you think you're supposed to be as the brand? The one with the brand, the one with the value. Which one are you? If you just said here, you'd have been like, I'm supposed to be here. But in the value exchange, in the role of empowerment, you stand behind the winner. You do it first. You do it first, and then you show someone else how to do it. You stand behind people and to their side, and you raise them up. And that's how you get lit up, and that's how your light goes on. I know this is deep. I know this is deep, but I want you to understand, and I'm going to give you an example. The example of me is me having the free groups. In those groups, I'm there to empower the people, not to be the one lit up. They already know who I am. They already know what I did. It's not about me no more. When you are trying to become someone or lit up, it's about you. You got to find the light. But once you got it, it's about you making one successful, then two successful, then three successful, then four. That's why we turn into what we call servant leaders. Servant leadership. Nobody knew who Phil Jackson was until Jordan blew up. People still didn't know him when he was responsible for Kobe and Shaq. If I showed you 10 people in a row like a gallery, you still couldn't tell me who Cus D'Amato was, but everybody knew who Tyson was. And the list goes on and on and on. The greatest people are responsible for the great people. I'm gonna keep that low. Because that's a deep one. And your belief about this will determine whether you are here or whether you're here. A lot of people come into this game, I see them all the time. They want to be a speaker. They want to be a coach. They want to get money. They want to be successful. Their definition of success is money. Their definition of success isn't having a community that is successful. Or having a community that has money, that gets money. They just want to get money themselves. So they want a community of people that's paying their bills. They don't want a community of people who are paying other people's bills in their families because they've taught them how to make so much money that everybody's rich. They don't want to be that person. They don't know what that person has to do. They don't know what that person has to know. So when you have a conversation with them, their knowledge is shallow. Their knowledge is shallow. They can't talk for too long. Everything they do is scripted. And all of their systems is falling apart because it's not built on character. It's built on, what's the word? It's built on the transaction. It's not built on transformation. Everybody's waiting for the perfect system because they want to handle the transaction correct. But you just need to get out there and start speaking to people and giving them life, because you're concentrating on the wrong thing. The money comes after the meaningfulness. The transformation takes place before the transaction. And if your attitude is wrong about that, then you're not going to you have to get over yourself first. I had to get over myself first. We have to get over ourselves first, because it's not about us in this space. We don't write our books for us. I wrote my book. I've never read it again. But people have told me, your book changed my life. I read your book. I love it. It's crazy. I've been able to apply this. It wasn't for me. I had to get it out of me for somebody else. I show my book. Why? Not because I want to show you me. I show you how to brand something for you that looks like you, that speaks to your value, so you can go speak to your people and get your money for giving them your meaningfulness. Does this make sense? I wrote the book. This is not, sometimes we have a backward psychology. Is everybody understanding what I'm saying? Is this making sense? I know it's like, okay, we brand ourselves. Yes, we brand ourselves, but we brand ourselves to attract other people, to empower them. Because they, 9 times out of 10, are like you. So when you come out of your shell, remember, you empower other people to come out of theirs. Leaders are ones who raise other people up and inspire other people. Communication is to convey the confidence and build the confidence in other people. Now, let me tell you why. Relationships. That's the R, relationships. The 5 stages of a relationship are the merge, doubt and denial, disillusionment, the decision, and wholehearted love. Every single relationship moves through these 5 stages, though not only once. Think of these stages not as stepping stones to a final outcome, but rather as a series of seasons that we move through in an eternal cycle. So I told you, when people come across your brand, they're going to ignore you, then they're going to laugh at you, then they're going to make a decision and hopefully fall in love with you. That's asking you how much. They're going to come into contact with you, which is the merge. Your brand comes across their field of vision. They see it. It merges with their subconscious. Doubt and denial. First, they ignore it. Who is this person? If you're consistent, then they become delusionment. They don't believe you and they laugh. Who is this guy with the red tie and a white shirt all the time? We don't do that over here. We don't do that from the hood. We don't do that over here. What are you talking about? Leadership. What does he mean? But then the decision comes when I put the numbers up. He said, what? 36, what? In a who? What? How? Okay, let's find out about it. That was the decision. And now you either love me or hate me. I pull and push who I'm supposed to. And that's the same thing that will happen for you. But you have to be consistent to get past the delusionment. And if you're looking for the money up front, you're not going to be consistent because it's not going to come fast enough. It doesn't come when you want it. It comes when you earn it. And we always think we've done enough. We always think we've done enough. I knew I did enough. I was like, man, I done gave this world everything. I done gave these people everything. I done did everything. I did everything I could. I'm doing everything. I'm doing the most. Not quite. My bank account reflected it wasn't enough yet. And I had to continue to do more and continue to do more and continue to do more and continue to do more. And that's why you see these groups popping up. And that's why you see these different offers coming. And that's why you see coaching like a leader. I'm not charging anything more for coaching like a leader. I could, but I'm not. I just sent people the ADVs, the advanced insights. I'm going to charge $500 for that. Everybody here going to get that for free. I could, but I'm not. Speaking like a leader later in the year, that's going to be free for everybody here. If you're still here, that's going to be free for you. 5 stacks. Here, take it, have it, get it, go get bread. I want you to win. I want your life lit up. I want your life lit up. I'm going to continue to give. I'm going to continue to give until it's properly received, because you as the communicator are responsible for the conveyance of the communication. That's another call for ink, guys. You as the communicator are responsible for the proper conveyance of the communication. So if I keep saying it and somebody's not getting it, I got to say it a different way. I got to think about it. I got to learn some different ways to communicate it so that my people can get it. That's my job. A coach, there is no such thing as a bad player. There is no such thing as bad kids. There's parents who did something off. There's parents who did something off. I don't believe there's just kids born with black hearts. Cold worlds turn kids off. But the right person can turn an off kid back on. And I know that to be a fact. Okay, I think you're asking me to say that one more time. Conveyors, okay, communication is the responsibility of the conveyor. It is your responsibility as the conveyor to figure out new ways to make sure that the communication makes its mark. We don't give up on people. The bottleneck in your business is the psychology of the leader. Whenever you're speaking to a client or a potential client and you're thinking they just don't get it, that's the need for you to turn the mirror back on you and say, what am I not doing right? What am I not saying the right way? How am I not meeting this person where they at? We don't just say, oh, forget them, or something worse. People say I got a big heart. I do. People say I work with people. I do. I work with people with attitudes. I work with people who don't understand the value. I work with people with complaints. I do. Because as the coach, it's my job to be the more evolved individual to understand what they're not getting and how. And if I don't get it today, I need to learn it tonight, so tomorrow they could get it. Because my job is empowerment. That's my job. That's why I'm opening these communities and I'm bringing you guys here and I'm talking to you about watch what I do, not just what I said you should do. In the course, Branded Like a Leader, I spoke about this. I said world on notice. I said omnipresence. All throughout those weeks, I talked about your morals, your values, your principles, your value statement, what you believe in, your story. What is your story? It's not about you. It's about your client, ideal client, which means you fall in love with the ideal client and you work to light them up. I said meaningfulness first, money later, impact first, income later. It's a natural progression. Let me say this. It is a natural progression. If you push the meaningfulness agenda, the money will come. It's a guarantee. But if you're contingent, if you say, okay, I'm going to push the meaningful agendas for 3 months, and if I don't get no drip, I'm moving. It'll be the fourth month that you should have stuck around to get the drip, but you moved a month too soon because you was contingent. You had a contingency. Not only do people know, but you know. So you can't put your all into it when you're holding back, beholden to a result. It's called expectancy. We are only let down when we expect. If we don't have expectation and we just come to serve, then we will be fulfilled from the service. You can't serve two things. So who are you really here to serve is the question. If you do unto others, you will be done unto. You don't have to worry about that. But I think there's a lot of people that are, going through real life, and real life happens, and we have to overcome emotions. We have to overcome barriers. We have to overcome beliefs. We have to overcome psychological concepts and precepts that we're not good enough, or it's not going to work for us, or if we don't have it by this time, then we're not really going to it can't be that. Because if that's your frequency, as Remedy likes to say, if that's your energy, you're giving that off. You're giving off that frequency. You're giving off that attitude. And as much as you try to smile and hide it, it's just not attractive. And I had to learn this. So I'm not telling you something that I was so sweet at that I got it in 2 days. No. This took years to get. But as soon as I got it, it was really, I had it, I knew it subconsciously, but I didn't have the chance to show it until COVID happened. When COVID happened, it was like, wow, shut up or show up. Shut it down or step up. Everybody shut it down. Everybody sat down. When COVID happened, nobody had no money. Everybody's bank accounts was closed. Everybody was tight fists. They had they teeth clamped around their bank account and they wasn't spending nothing. And I knew it. I couldn't even ask nobody for no bread when everybody was scared to death, losing their job and dying. You couldn't even ask. You couldn't fix your face. A lot of people did, and they got a real bad rap for that. I couldn't fix my face to say, here's something for sale, but I still wanted to be of service. So I did. And people remember that. History will bear me witness to that. That's what I did. And that's what we do. That's what you need to do. And when you do, because trust me, your moment, your time of judgment will come when it's time for you. It might be when your bank account is on crickets and you continue to move forward. It may be when your boss say you got 2 weeks and you continue to move forward. It might be when you lose somebody close, because that happened to me too, and you continue to move forward. It might be when you don't know what your next move is or where your next dollar's coming from, because I've been there too, and you continue to move forward and give and not think about taking, that you get a check. That you get a check. That's where checks come from. Checks come from value and integrity. Checks come from character. Checks come from character more than from service. Write that down. Don't try to figure it out. And don't try to figure it out. Just write it down. And then underline it. And then if you got a yellow marker, highlight it. Checks come from character more than they do service. But character creates the service. So you could say that character creates the check. Now, that's more into remedy space, so I'm going to stop now. I'm going to stop right there. I just want you guys to understand where the clear code came from and why we talk about these certain things and why I made it based on these certain things. Communication, leadership, empowerment, attitude, and relationships. Because if you lead on these principles and precepts, you'll never wonder where your money coming from.